How's it going, everyone?
Hey Kyle, how's it going?
Good.
I guess if you could just kind of take us there, into the seventh when you come in. Obviously, Coastal, I think entering this game has already had six sacrifice bunts on the year. I mean, just how much of that was something you guys kind of talked about once you got out there? Just kind of, can you take us through that play?
Well, yeah, coming into a situation like that, it's something you practice a lot, fall, preseason, whatnot. It's something that you're aware of as far as you're in a situation where they can and will either suicide or just squeeze. But I mean, going out there, getting ready to go in the game. I mean, Coach Forbes obviously tells you a situation and what's going on, and that's a possibility. And I think what actually happened as far as them getting it down, it was just a weird bunt. Try your hardest to make a play, but I think that's just baseball as far as a bunt that was touched like that and spun back into play, and everything's moving so fast with the communication. And unfortunately, I lost my footing, and I think we had him at four or first, but it's such a tough play in that situation. And really, from that point on, you just got to flush it and face the next batter. And luckily, I was able to get us back in the dugout. And I think that goes along with just our team as far as we knew this was our game, and dealing with adversity like that and just dealing with the game of baseball. I think that was a big moment for us as a whole team, actually. But yeah, like you said, I mean, coming into the game, what type of situation it is, and you're ready for that. It's just the game of baseball is unpredictable, and the way that played out is just something you can't control.
Hey, Kyle. So you had 5 strikeouts, I believe. I think that was your career high so far at UNC. Especially in that 7th inning. Are you looking to strike those guys out? Do you see yourself more as a strike or a guy trying to miss bats, or a guy trying to induce weak contact?
I mean, I'm a strikeout guy, and whether that's a real thing or not, I believe in my stuff and its ability to get strikeouts. Sometimes you're not always thinking about that, but as a reliever, some situations you come in and you're looking for a strikeout. So I think that also has a lot to do with confidence as far as how I'm pitching. I think going out there and trusting your stuff and letting it all eat with maximum intent is what you want to do as a pitcher. And I think that's what leads to the strikeouts, is more believing in yourself and what you're doing to prepare.
Kyle, in your last 5 appearances this season, the score was out of hand either way, whether you guys were up or that one time you were trailing ECU. What's different about your mindset coming into a game like this one, where it was, you said you guys thought it was your game, but I guess at the time it was still neck and neck there?
Mm-hmm. Well, like I said, I mean, we put a lot of work into being comfortable out there in real games, and that stems back to preseason situations and practicing like you play. So honestly, I can tell you that the situation's a little more serious, but I mean, as a pitcher, I think you go out there and you pitch with all you got, no matter what the situation is. I mean, of course, this situation was a closer game than my past appearances, but it's the same mentality out there as far as you're trying to dominate. And usually when you go out there with that mentality, as a pitcher, you can strike guys out, they can miss balls. It's more about, believing in yourself. And regardless of the situation, as far as the fielding your position, that's another thing that we spend a lot of time on, to make sure that all of our guys are ready for those tough situations where you have to do more than just pitch it. You got to field it, you got to communicate, and all the different factors along with that.
Kyle, you talked there just about the importance of just trusting your stuff and kind of believing in it. As you were kind of going through last year, was there ever a point where you did kind of lose that confidence in your stuff, and just kind of what sort of steps have you taken just over this offseason to, really emerge, another, high leverage guy for this team?
I mean, yeah, I try to never really talk about myself, and I'm having a ton of fun with the team we have here. I think that win was awesome. We needed that, and that was the confidence. But going back personally, thinking about a whole year of college baseball, that whether you underperformed, didn't have the confidence, it's tough, especially when you're the one going through it. And it happens to many people. Everyone comes to a place like this and you're the best player in high school, and baseball is such a different sport, and baseball will humble you. You can work hard and things won't go your way. There's just a lot of stuff that that's not physical that you really have to deal with. And I know last year, obviously I was working really hard and I think my mind was on the wrong stuff as far as like mechanically, you know, I've always been an athlete and been a baseball player. And when I started getting caught up in why am I not pitching well, I think it might be certain movements. It just sent me down a path that, you know, I was focusing on the wrong stuff. And really this fall was, you know, thankfully I went to the CPL. This fall was good. But then really when I went home, I was just, let's just be an athlete. You know, I like fielding ground balls during BP, anything, you know, just playing baseball. And I was like, let's just throw the ball like I used to throw it across the infield in high school, or like I used to throw a football. And that really, you know, made it simple for me again, as far as just use your body to throw the ball as hard as you can. And when you unleash your body like that and you have the trust, your stuff will follow. And it shows how important confidence is in the sport, especially as a pitcher.
Anything else for Kyle, guys?
All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Thanks, Kyle.
Kyle.
You too, man.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Kyle. Appreciate you. You guys, any questions for Mac?
Matt, can you take us through that final at bat, your approach, and then going through it? It was like, I think, an 8 or 9 pitch at bat there.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously knew pitcher had a really good curveball, and that was probably going to be his out pitch. I was just trying to look for something to at least just get the runners over, make it a little easier, maybe pass ball. But you know, I just kind of hung one up a little bit, and it wasn't a great swing, but you know, it fell, and Danny was going right on contact, so he was able to score in there.
Kind of as that innings unfolding, I mean, 4 straight hits there for you guys to cap it. I mean, just kind of, I know momentum is kind of one of those things that, you know, doesn't exist or not, but I mean, could you really kind of feel something building there?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think it all started with Mott throwing. He came in and he just shut them all down, and I think keeping that game a 1-run game, like it kept us in it, knowing like, hey, it's only 1 run. We can do that. We had, I don't know when he came in, 7th, I think, and yeah, came in, kept the game close for us, and you know, Frick leading off that inning or getting the big knock, Danny following, Johnny following. I mean that was just a good team win. I mean, it was just, yeah, I mean, it felt great.
What was different today than Sunday in Greenville, where you guys prevented the 2-0 deficit from expanding, unlike in Greenville?
I don't really know. Some days you just go out there and it just doesn't go your way. And I mean, baseball is a tough sport. You can't go out there and expect to win every single day, because you know you're going to have bad days. And I think over in Greenville, it was just a tough day for us. Things just didn't go our way, and you know, we lost that game. And today things went right, and it just fell our way. So.
Mac, it seemed like throughout the AB, you kind of it went better. It went better as you went on. So, like, is that kind of how you've been very, very patient? So, is that kind of how you've been, get late into counts and then do your damage?
I mean, not necessarily. I think right now, I mean, I like to be aggressive, but sometimes, I mean, I just feel I'm not in a great spot to hit, and I'll take a good pitch. And I mean, I think that hurts me at times, because I maybe need to be a little more aggressive. But yeah, I mean, today I just wasn't seeing it great, wasn't getting good swings off. But I mean, got guys in front of me doing their job, pitchers doing their job, and you know, just good team win. So.
Matt, kind of going off that a little bit, you know, going through a week where maybe, you know, you're not getting quite the results that you want for you personally at the plate. Just how much does what you went through last year kind of help you as you're coming to the plate there in the 9th inning to know, like, not to put too much pressure on yourself and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that helps a lot because, I mean, obviously, no matter what, you're going to struggle in baseball. It just depends when it's going to be. And going through that last year, I mean, there was a lot of things that I learned mentally, just sticking with the process and, coming into this year, when the ups and downs happen, I just feel better prepared for it. So.
Go ahead, Pat.
I was say, do you know the last time you had a walk-off?
I have absolutely no idea. I think it might be my first, maybe. Yeah.
Anything else for Matt, guys?
So how the first walk-off feel there? I mean, obviously you mentioned Danny running on contact right away. Did you know that it was game over as soon as the ball landed in the short outfield there?
I had a good feeling. I rounded first and I wasn't even looking. I was just watching Danny to see if he'd touch home plate. I mean, yeah, it was an awesome feeling. I mean, I looked right at Johnny, he's my roommate, and he was just freaking out. And I was like, oh my God, we did it. It was awesome. So yeah.
Thanks, man.
Thank you,
Thanks,
guys.
Mac.
Thanks, Mac.
All right, guys, coaches here.
How we doing? Everybody good? Yeah, wow, that was fun. Hard fought game, two good teams. Obviously, we left a lot of guys on early when we had a chance to capitalize, and we didn't, but Brandon Schaefer kept us in the game. I think he was the story. And then Kyle Mott was outstanding. And when you're at home or anytime, I told our guys today before the game, we have a type of lineup which really not a big deal for down. We've got power throughout. We got speed. So scoring a couple runs is not a big deal. You just have to keep playing. And it was ironic that it was one of those games, the first inning, things that don't show up in the box score that we talk about all the time is Angel making an unbelievable play, and preventing them from having a big inning in the first. And then, unfortunately, but fortunately we won the game. And unfortunately, we almost lost that game by not executing a tandem like we need to, and that guy getting that triple. So, but man, I tell you what, there's nothing better than a walk off at the Bosch. I feel like it's been a while. We didn't have a 20 season. I know we didn't walk off anybody last year. So that was great, and our guys deserve it. It's a tough group, and the one thing, if that's not freshmen growing up into sophomores, you look at Johnny, you look at Frick, you look at Horvath. Horvath's off to a slow start. I'm just going to say he's a slow starter. But he wanted to be in that spot. And, those three guys that last year, in my opinion, I think they're out. That's a legitimate Power 5 closure right there at the end. So great win for us and an awesome atmosphere here at the Bosch.
Coach, I guess kind of going there to the seventh inning after that tandem play, you turn to Rap at that point, and after the walk, you go to Mott. Just what went into the decision to go to each of those guys in those two spots? And then with Mott in particular, I mean, I think they entered tonight with 6 sacrifice bunts on the year. Just was his athleticism something that really kind of came into consideration for him as well?
Yeah, we liked the matchup with Mott. We thought they would pitch hit. But I thought the hitter that they pitch hit for was one of their best hitters. So he was out of the game, and we were okay with him facing that righty. And we told Mott, we're okay if you walk him. We want to strike him out or possibly walk him and set up a double play. We had a good feeling when we brought in Mott because of the right-on-right matchup and his athleticism. He's one of our best athletes, probably the most athletic pitcher we've had since Bergner. And he hopped off the mound really well, probably had an out. His feet just got out from under him. And then next thing you know, we're throwing a wild pitch and have second and third, and he got out of it. So I told the guys when I went out there, I said, if they score one run, it's not that big a deal. I preach to them all the time. It's hard to lose a game when you give up solo home runs or just one run. But if you give up a big inning, you're going to lose the game. And that's what we did. We had to score one anyway, to win the game when it was 2-2. So them, getting out of that first inning and Mott getting us back in only 3-2 when they had second, third, and one out gave us a legitimate chance. And that's a credit to Kyle Mott. And it's been awesome to see his comeback after a tough year last year.
Scott, what was the decision to go with Stokely at first and move Johnny to second? Was it just rewarding Stokely, or what was that?
Well, you're probably wondering about that when he turned 3 circles in the first inning on the fly ball, and he's good at that usually. Stokely's a big guy, but he's a little misleading. Like, he's pretty athletic. He's just a big dude, and we were joking because we had a bunch of infield work yesterday, and I must have hit those second baseman and first baseman 50 fly balls, and sure enough, he just turns in 3 circles. Patty's been struggling a little bit at second base. We felt like against a right-hander, we need to get another lefty in there with some power. And Stokely's had a great preseason. We feel like he's a good defender at first base. And Johnny very well could be our best second baseman, but he also is our best first baseman. And that's the luxury of having a guy like Johnny. Johnny, I would be comfortable with Johnny at short or at third. He reminds me a lot of Ryan Grapel, who we had here. Went to Omaha, and he came in late and played shortstop in 08. He played it in 09. And if you hit the ball near him, you're out. So just to get another bat in there with some power and reward what he's done, he deserved it.
Coach Forbes, I talked to you a bit in Friday's post-game press conference against ECU, talking about Schaefer's start then, and you said that you liked it, but there are some takeaways such as his off speed not really hitting, things like that. How would you compare his start this past Friday to what you saw from him tonight?
Man, honestly, probably about the same, except I thought he was at his best in pitches 65 through 85, to be honest with you. I thought he started getting looser. So that may be something I'll talk to Coach Gaines about. I experienced that some as a pitching coach. Sometimes you have to have guys throw a little more than they think they need to in the bullpen, but that's a good sign. You want your starters. We've had some starters here like Ken Emanuel and Alex White. If you didn't get to them in the first, second, or third inning, it was going to be hard to get to him. And I thought he threw some better off-speed pitches, some good changeups to righties, some good sliders, but they're still not where, what I've seen. I've seen him dominate our hitters when he's really on. But it's better. He's making progress. So hopefully his off-speed will continue to get better. And he's got to be at a pitch glove side, and that's into righties and away to lefties consistently. And I thought he made some big pitches, especially innings 4 through 6 on that side of the plate.
Coach, you talked there about, all 3 sophomores, but with Mac, as you said, the struggles he went through last year, he touched on as well. Is that, that kind of helps him as he's going through whatever sort of slumps he has this year as well? Is that something that you guys kind of know, like, hey, like he's gone through this before a little bit, like we can let him kind of figure things out on his own a little?
Yeah, 100%. Mac's harder on himself. I walked out the other night in the cages, and he's just hitting. And I explained to him, like, Matt, like, it's fine as long as it's quality, but ease up on yourself a little bit. It's 8 games, and it's okay. That's part of baseball. Big leaguers start sometimes 1 for 35, and he's a year older. I think I saw it in his eyes. He wanted to be in that position at the end. Last year, he wouldn't have been able to handle it. So, if we can get Mac Horvath going, that would even be, I think our offense would really be like, whoa, because we all know what he's capable of doing, and get him a little more consistent. So I thought him, that's something too that a lot of times gets guys going, just finding a way to get that run in and walk them off. That was really cool to see for a kid that's probably struggled the most of anybody in our lineup so far. For him to get that hit was huge for him.
What was different about your club tonight than on Sunday in Greenville to be able to keep that 2-0 lead at 2-0 not expand, or 2-0 deficit?
For the most part, what was our error? Did they give an error to Stokely on the fly ball, or was it in the gap on the tandem?
That was a gap.
In the gap on the tandem. I thought at East Carolina we didn't play as tight defensively as we usually do. And I thought we made some bad pitches with the runners in scoring position. And credit Coach Gaines, you have to work on that in the bullpen. Like, okay, there's second and third, or is a 3-0 count. The guy hit the big double at East Carolina. You can't throw the ball right down the middle. You still have to make a good pitch. So I thought Rapp coming in, not giving in to that right-handed hitter, and giving them something to get those runs in, and then trusting Kyle Mott to be able to come in and get those righties out. And the same thing, we explain, if you love baseball and you really research the game, that sometimes a walk isn't a terrible thing. You rather give up a walk than a bases clear and double, even if it only gives up one run. So there are times where I tell our guys that you're trying to strike this guy out. Like that's all you're trying to do. And that's what I told Rapp. You walk them. And I thought that was the biggest difference. I thought our bullpen, made big pitches in big situations. I mean, Mott, Lord have mercy. I mean, that's 2.2 innings, 5 strikeouts. It's hard to score off that.
With that, was it just a neat, like you just leave him in at that point because you see his stuff, you recognize it early? Is there a plan to get any guys warmed up just in case, or what's it? Because I mean, that's his longest outing of the season. He only threw 2 innings all of last year.
Yeah. It's crazy because in 2020, like I thought he was going to be in our rotation once they canceled it with COVID. That's how good he was. I told Coach Kansas, like, man, he might pitch on Saturday for us or Friday. And we can never get him back. And he fought confidence. And, that's why you coach kids like Kyle Mott. That's tough, when you're that good and all of a sudden you just kind of lose it. And, he hadn't lost it. He's found it back. But yeah, we had Gage ready. If we tied it, we were going to make a change right there, most likely. But Kyle, Kyle's that type of kid that could start, not that he will, but he could. I think if I'm a scout and I'm watching Kyle Mott, I'm turning him in as a starter because he's got 4 pitches. I mean, that was a big changeup. The hitter he struck out, the left-hander was on his fastball. He was on his curveball or slider. And he hadn't thrown him a changeup and thrown him a good changeup. So, I thought that was big. One other thing I thought too that I didn't point out right away was I thought Max Reamer's at bat was huge. We needed a run. We needed a run, and that we were just kind of floundering, and him to come in and hit that ball to right field where we got first and third and got a run. I thought that was big, and he's a guy you might start seeing a little bit more of.
Coach, I don't want to say I'm a genius, but I was going to ask that question. So what was that? Why make that change? It was the 4th inning, I believe. Why make that change then?
It was just a gut feeling. I think Reamer's one of our best hitters. The challenge is you're not taking Frick out. And if you take Frick out and catch Reamer, Frick's going to DH. And then do you play Asuna at first? So we've spent a lot of time this week working with Reamer in left field. So we're going to see, if he can figure that out. But he's a legitimate bat. He's a middle of the order type guy. And that's a luxury also to have off the bench. But you also are sitting there saying, man, we're not playing one of our best left-handed hitters that's older, that's strong, that can hit doubles, can hit home runs. So I just had a feeling, I just thought, okay, we need to get a runner at second base right here because I have this good, Vance is Vance. I mean, he's a tough out. And, Max came in. I also thought he could hit a home run. And it's nothing against Reese. He's just younger, and Max is 23 years old. That's a big difference. So it's a little lower heartbeat, and thankfully it paid off because you don't usually do that early. I just felt like, they were up 2-0. We had left a lot of guys on base already, and I was thought, okay, we need to close the gap a little bit, and thankfully we did.
Coach, we were talking to Kyle and Mac on before you hopped on, and both of them were extremely candid about, Mac has been in the past as well, just about what he went through last season for both of them and also what Mac's gone through this year. I guess how important is that sort of quality to be able to talk about your struggles and, be able to learn from that failure and not have it become like a burden in a sense?
Yeah, definitely. And it starts with me, it starts from the top, from the standpoint of when I play, I have to make sure that I'm the same way. If we leave 5 runners on or 8 runners on the first 4 innings, if I'm talking about that in the 7th inning, I'm not practicing what we preach, and that is to really work hard at being process oriented and understanding that, you can be 3 for 3, but you can strike out with the bases loaded in the last inning, or you can be 0 for 3 and look terrible and not have good at bats and win the game. And we talk about that often. Jenny Shannon's come in once a week, and she's done a phenomenal job with our guys. She meets separately with position players and with the pitchers. They ask a lot of good questions, but she works really hard with our team on understanding, because one thing to say, everybody says be in the moment. Well, okay, you can say it, but then how do you do it? How do you apply it? What do you practice to do that? And that's something that we've worked on too, because that helps you with runners in scoring position quite a bit. And realizing, Pat, I tell our guys, I make them say out loud, I'm going to fail. Like, I'm going to hit with 2 strikes. I mean, it's just a sport that's the case. There's not many sports where if you hit, you fail 7 out of 10 times, you're a possible All-American. So you just have to accept that. It's harder on younger kids because they haven't failed a ton like they do when they first get here, when they're facing the arms like we faced tonight.
Anything else for Coach, guys?
All right. See y'all tomorrow. We need to get another
Thanks.
win and beat Duke. See y'all.
Thanks, Coach.
See ya.
Yeah.